Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to another video. So in this one here, this is my Q&A video for episode 9. I asked you guys for a bunch of questions on Twitter and you guys definitely delivered with all of that. So thank you guys so much. Remember to go follow me on Twitter. It's just at On Terror Street. I usually do these Q&As like once a week, once or twice a week. And I go back and forth. I'll do some on Twitter. I'll do one like on Instagram, or I'll do some on Discord. And so just if you're interested in taking part in these Q&As, definitely go follow me on like all three of them. And then whenever I do ask for questions, I'll just pick and choose from a whole list there. But anyways, thank you guys so much for all of this. I guess I should warn you that this will contain spoilers for episode 8. So if you haven't watched it yet, I recommend not watching this video any further. But without further ado, let's actually get into the first question here. So first question here, are you happy with the cliffhanger? And ultimately, do you think this is the end of the Reaper arc with Leah dying? I'm not happy with the cliffhanger. I've been seeing some people saying that, like, I'm sort of defending the cliffhanger a little bit, or like, like I always say that I don't like cliffhangers, but all of a sudden I like this one. That's not what I'm saying. I don't like the cliffhanger. What I liked about episode 8 is that they didn't rush anything. That was the big thing. Yes, I wanted more. I didn't want it to end in a cliffhanger, and that's where I feel so conflicted with it. But with everything that we got with Leah and Daryl, I'm so happy that it wasn't rushed, because they could have rushed through the entire thing and yes, gave us the conclusion really fast, no cliffhanger or anything, but it would have felt way too rushed. And with where they left off, now I feel like shit's really going down with this arc. And so I'm excited to get into episode 9 and see where they go with it. And I think that episode 9 is going to be very action-packed. And so I'm not happy with the cliffhanger, but I'm also very happy that they didn't rush it, if that makes any sense. So that's why I'm kind of like, I've been seeing people like bitching about the cliffhanger, and I totally get it. Like, I 100% get it. But I've also been seeing people saying, like, I'm so happy that we got as much Reaper stuff as they gave us, because if they would have wrapped everything up there, if Leah would have died or they went back to Alexandria, it would have felt really rushed. And that's the feeling that I had as well. Like, there was so much going on. In order to wrap this up, it would feel so forced, so rushed. And so, I think the way they did it, it worked really well. And I'm just excited for episode 9, because I think then they could actually really wrap up a lot of different things. How do you think Negan and Maggie are going to make it out of that attack we saw at the end of 1108? Well, I think some of them are going to be, or one of them is going to be injured for sure. There's no way they're going to get out of this situation and just be 100% fine. They're going to get wounded. Someone's going to get an arrow through their leg or arm or something like that. It would be kind of cool if it happened to Maggie, just because I don't see Maggie ever getting hurt, right? Like, this entire journey, she hasn't gotten hurt yet. Everyone else has, right? So I think it would be kind of cool to see Maggie in that situation, to see her struggling to survive and fighting back, and making it back to Alexandria, just to see her go through something like that. Because everyone else has. Negan's been through stuff like that. Daryl definitely has so many times. Everyone's been through so much. I think it would be cool for Maggie to do that, to see that struggle and then that rise and, just that fight to survive. In terms of how I think they're actually going to make it out, like I said, I think one of them's going to get injured. They are going to definitely hide under zombies, or they're going to hide behind things. Like, they're going to try to find a way to get out. Gabriel could rescue them. There's going to be things like that. It's going to happen pretty early on. My prediction is that what happens here is it's gonna get wrapped up pretty early on in episode 9, because usually when they end on a cliffhanger like this, the next 5 or 10 minutes it's completely wrapped up, and then we're gonna get more of the Reapers hunting them down, right? Because they're all gonna be hiding within the walls. The walls are closed. They're all trapped within Meridian, and the Reapers are now hunting Negan, Elijah, Gabriel, Maggie, and Daryl down. And so what comes of that, right? And I think that's what they're going to focus mostly on in this episode. So do you think the Reapers will use Dog to track down Daryl and Alexandria? And do you see Carol coming into play somehow with Leah's knife? On that first part there, I think that could be possible. I mean, to be honest, I don't know, like, because Leah could probably just find Daryl. And it's not even that. Like, does Leah want the Reapers to find Daryl? I don't know if she does, to be honest. It's sort of a tricky situation, because if they find Daryl and then they kill him, is she just going to be fine with that? It's going to hurt her so much, right? Like, she's all villain, sure, but like, it's still Daryl. Like, they still had a relationship. So I am very torn on that part of it. I think it would be cool just if you're going to make Leah a villain, just go all out with it, you know? But I don't know about that part. Using dog to track Daryl down, I could see that being the case, but then again, I think that Leah might not want to use dog to track Daryl down, right? And on your second part of the question, do you see Carol coming into play somehow with Leah's knife? In terms of Carol coming into play, I guess what the Reaper arc you mean? That I don't see happening, just because they're kind of far away from each other. The next time Carol sees Daryl is when Daryl returns back to Alexandria, in my opinion. Next question: were you shocked by Pope's death, and what are your death predictions on episode 9? Also, when is season 11B going to drop? Well, yes, I was shocked by his death. Well, not shocked by his death. I had a feeling it was going to happen in this episode, but I was shocked by who did it. Definitely, I wasn't expecting that. And what are my death predictions on episode 9? I'll have to give that more thought. Off the top of my head, I'm still saying Eldon. I still think he's going to go. I think that could be revealed in that episode. Besides that, I don't really know. Honestly, Leah could even be a character death. A lot of the Reapers like Carver and stuff are probably going to be gone. But I'll stick with that for now, to be honest. I don't really know what they do next in terms of character deaths, but I'll have to give it more thought. Definitely, I'll do a death predictions video once the trailer comes out and I can see the new footage. Then I'll know more of like which characters are where, right? And in terms of when is season 11B going to drop, most likely February. It's either going to be early or late February. It's always been February. It's never came out in March or in January. Like every year, it has always been February. So that's likely when they're going to release it. What do you think is next for the group overall? And do you think anyone from the Reapers will try and join Daryl and the crew? Because Leah might tell them that Pope tried to kill him and get a different set of mind. The thing is, I think they're going to follow Leah no matter what. I don't really see that. I don't see the Reapers ever really joining Daryl and them. If anything, like out of all the characters there, the only one that's going to join Daryl and the crew is Leah, right? But Leah kind of turned, and I think to go back on that would be so out of nowhere. I'd be like, what, really? So Leah turned all bad just for the convenience of killing Pope, and then, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not a fan of that. She's turned now, right? Like now she's the bad guy, so just keep her that, add some complexity there. Maybe if anything, Daryl saves Leah, or maybe holds her captive after they kill the rest of the Reapers, and she doesn't like it, and he brings her back to Alexandria and tries to show her more, right? Like maybe that's possible, but I don't know. It's so hard to say with Leah. They can really go in any direction. I really wanted Leah and Connie to meet. I really wanted that love triangle, all that argument and drama there. I wanted that to happen, but at this point, it seems very unlikely. That's what I'll say. But as for what do I think is going to happen to the group overall, they definitely are going to be getting back to Alexandria in episode 9. And I think episode 9 is going to end with the Commonwealth's arrival to Alexandria. And then episode 10, I think, is where we're going to, actually spend some time with Pamela Milton and then get to know the character a lot more. It's going to be a lot like the Alpha's introduction in season 9, right? They introduced the idea of the Whisperers in season 9 from like episode 6, 7, 8. They kind of introduced this idea of the Whisperers, but we didn't meet Alpha or Lydia or any of the main characters until 9 and 10. And so I think that's where we're going to meet Pamela Milton, is at the very end of episode 9, but mostly in 10 is where we're going to meet the character. I mean, they have to. Like, at that point, we're going to be almost halfway through the series. We got to start to get into the Commonwealth arc. Like, the Reaper arc is fun and all, but I want to get into that, because that's really the last part of the story here, is returning to normal and dealing with all that drama. So I hope it happens soon, but that's my thoughts on that. What big moments do you think could happen in part 2? Well, as of now, and I will do more videos talking about part 2 and what is likely going to happen here, which is crazy. I can't believe part 1 is just done. We got 16 episodes left to go, right? In terms of the big moments, I have to reread some of the Commonwealth arc to know more of what happens when they're actually at the Commonwealth. Obviously, Pamela Milton going to Alexandria is going to be a big one. Daryl and everyone going back to the Commonwealth, that's also going to be a bigger storyline, dealing with Sebastian, dealing with certain aspects there. There's going to be other characters doing different things like Rosita and Gabriel. There's a lot of stuff there that you can do with Rick as well, right? There could be some CRM stuff in part 2. There's going to be quite a bit of stuff here that happens. A lot of the writing, I think the big comic death that happens with Rick and Dwight, I think that moment's going to happen definitely in part 2. They have to. I just don't know which characters are going to take that story, but that's definitely happening in part 2. Do you think the Commonwealth will save our guys at Meridian or Alexandria in episode 9? No, I'm still kind of backing the predictions I made, where I think they're just going to survive the storm, take out all the walkers. Alexandria is just going to be in ruins even more so. At Meridian, they're going to deal with the Reapers. They're going to survive that, get back to Alexandria. They're all going to reunite. Everything is destroyed. Everything's in ruins. And then the Commonwealth arrive. And I think at that point, I guess maybe in a sense, they could help them out. But they're definitely going to be dealing with those problems on their own. Do you think there is a chance that Michonne could return in part 2 or 3? I think there's a chance she could return in part 3, for sure. I think that Michonne could come back in part 3, most likely in the final episode. I think it makes a lot of sense, and that's the thing. A lot of those leaks and rumors are going to start to come out next year. I believe they're going to wrap up filming The Walking Dead in March. So in March next year, if there's any sort of tease or hint that Rick or Michonne are on set, if fans get pictures of them in Georgia or anything, like it's at that point, it's just, yeah, it's going to be nuts. It's going to be crazy. And to be honest, that's one of those things that, like, I don't know how you don't spoil that. How do you keep that a secret? Like, you got to try so hard. I really hope that AMC tries so hard to keep all of that a secret. They got to be completely hidden. No one can know that they're in Georgia. You have to have that reveal in the final episode be so amazing. And to be honest, like, when I look forward to the final episode of The Walking Dead, I don't even know what I'm going to do for a review for that episode, because I got to make it a big deal. I got to make a big event out of it. But I also really want to watch the episode on my own and just kind of sit with it for a bit. You know what I mean? Like, maybe don't just jump into a review and talk about whatever. Just watch the episode. Just kind of sit there and be like, wow, so that's how the show ended. Just sit there and enjoy that. Because I've like, I talk about it on YouTube here a lot and stuff, but like, I'm also a genuine fan of the show. I love the show so much. I've been a fan of the show since season 2 is when I started watching it on TV. So like, it's been a very long time, and I would really love to just soak it all up, just live in that moment of when that show's going to end. But then again, I've also been, talking about this stuff with you guys for so long, I might as well share the moment with you guys, right? So maybe I'll do like a live, like, face cam reaction to watching the episode. I think that could be really cool. But yeah, I don't know. That's still a year away. Like, the final episode is not airing for another year, so we still have so much time before then. What was the purpose of the Reapers arc / plot? I mean, they're just there to bring Leah and Daryl to closer and nothing more. This is a good question. The Reaper arc, I would say in total, was more to explain and service Maggie, right? And explain like her backstory, why she's been gone for so long. And they also had to come up with something else to do, because in the comic at this point, Rick and Carl, everyone else in Alexandria and the Hilltop aren't doing much. Honestly, Andrea just died during the Whisper arc. Rick, for like 10 to 15 issues, is just moping around. There is some drama with Dwight, yes, but to have a whole 8 episodes about that would definitely, it wouldn't be fun at all. So a lot of it is coming up with more original material here to make it more exciting, while you have Eugene and them at the Commonwealth and slowly advancing that story there. So I do like what they did. They came up with this stuff here. I just hope that, and that's sort of my fear with it all, is that the Reaper arc is going to feel so closed off once it ends, and it's not going to really bleed into the Commonwealth stuff. Like, that's what I want. I want it to somehow make sense and connect to the Commonwealth story somehow. I know there's no way because they don't know of each other. I get that, but maybe certain things happen there that lead our characters to wanting to, join the Commonwealth. And like, there's got to be some connective tissue there. I don't want it to be completely severed off. Like, once they deal with the Reapers, you jump into the Commonwealth stuff. It's complete, you know what I mean? But yeah, anyways, thank you guys so much for posting all of your questions. I definitely really enjoyed answering all of these. Make sure to be a subscriber if you want more Walking Dead content like this, and I'll see you guys in the next one.